What's up, everybody? Welcome to Town Hall Meeting with the Mayor. I am your host, Eugene Man Roberts, and today we're going to go over the pond, across the seas, and talk to an amazing drummer, percussionist extraordinaire, my homeboy, Mr. Pete Lockett.
What's up, my man Pete from across the water? How are you doing? What you got going on? What you been working on?
Yeah, good. Busy. I'm doing a lot of writing.
Yes.
I'm a musical hermit anyway. When I'm not on the road, I always spend a lot of time, quite isolated in a way. Practicing, mixing. You know what it's like anyway.
Yeah.
In the studio and in the thing. But yeah, I've got some different books that I'm writing. I'm doing a lot of I've got a couple of albums, different albums and things. And one of the big things is that I'm trying to reach out with at the moment is this, the Play From Home series. Because, my career has kind of, featured very much with collaborations with different artists from all over the world. And so that's kind of, one of my focuses at the moment, to try and bring that kind of, unity out of diversity. Things together.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people, a lot recently, I've been talking about just relationships and how through this, with people being at home and, everything's becoming a little more virtual.
Exactly,
I think it's cool for people, like you said, to collaborate, like the Play From Home, like that's amazing. Like, anything I can do to help with that and be a part of that, like, I'm totally
down. Yeah, amazing, man. We definitely talk about something that'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
there's so many. Today I was doing one with an artist from, like, literally in the middle of the desert in Rajasthan.
Oh, wow.
A place called Alwar in Rajasthan. And then, yesterday was with Sarah Tower, who's a great new, coming up young drummer in Canada. And then, I've got lots of different, Craig Blundell's going to be doing one, Thomas Lang. It's quite a huge list.
The heavy hitters.
Actually. Yeah, heavy hitters, yeah. But
I think what's crazy is it's like,
folk artists as well,
Okay, yeah, that's dope. Yeah, that's like real world music, because you're getting people from different parts of the world to come together.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just world music because it sounds world, but like there's literally people sending stems and files from all over the world, which is pretty.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing, really. We're if anything shows, how unified we can be as a species. I think, maybe we can dig something out of this with that,
Mm-hmm. What's something you would, what's a piece of advice you would give to, a millennial or someone that wants to achieve some of the things you've achieved, especially like this day and age, what's going on as far as, having the internet, not having the internet, relationships?
Yeah, well, I think that people are often led by, external, especially in the days of social media now, and people see things and they think, oh, well, I've got to be like that, or I've got to be like that, or these are the things that I need to do to be either successful or competent at my art. And, for me, I just think it's about following your heart. For me, I could never, I've worked in a huge number of different arenas and different things, but it's only been things that I've wanted to do and things that I've felt, that my heart's in. So, certain musics I've never played because I don't like playing it. So to me, it's a philosophical contradiction to go, why would I want to play something that I don't like? I mean, apart from just to be, a well-rounded professional. But for me, I mean, and it's not judgmental on that, but for me, I want more than that. I want to reach deeper into the philosophy and the spirituality of it all. And you can't do that if you're just doing something as a skill set, I don't think.
Yeah. So basically have a deeper purpose for the music and not just because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, to a point, but also, follow your heart. You know what you love. We know what moves us musically.
Yeah.
And if we can really engage with that, then there's such an integrity and honesty about that it almost doesn't matter. When people, there's a lot of trolls and stuff like that you get on the internet, and are truly coming from your own heart. There's nothing can cast any doubt on that, because you're doing something honestly with your own internal passion.
Yeah.
People can like it or not like it. I mean, it's obvious some people will like what one does and others won't. Whatever, just get on and do it and believe in it,
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Do you find it tough coming from, because I always have these conversations with a lot of my friends from England and just from overseas. Do you find it easier to work musically with people in your culture, or do you feel it doesn't matter when it comes to some of the artists? Because I know you've played with some U.S. artists, you've played with, you know, artists from all over the world. Like, is it a difference to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for me, and I suppose it kind of partly defines, you know, what, you know, the artists that I work with in the, because there's two areas. There's like the session thing,
Right.
You know, basically you're, you know, I always say to people, you know, if you go in on a session, you're someone's sound module. You can't go in there with an attitude of, oh, well, like, you know, in this type of music that doesn't never happen. You can't have that. So there's that area. You know, where you're, I suppose you know, you're compliant to a degree.
Yeah.
And then the other area, the collaborative area, you know, and for me, you know, wanting to work with people that are exploring and reaching out. And that's why for me, a lot of cross-cultural collaborations are so interesting, because, you know, you've got people from different cultures, you know, kind of working in the middle ground in between the two things. You know, obviously the integrity of the tradition is adhered to, and you know, it's not like they throw it away and you know, do something that devalues it or demeans, you know, all of the things that they've learned over the years. But it's about how do you get a dialogue with you know, other musicians, other cultures, music, and and to me that's like such an amazing journey. Just to have that, you know, just to go to India or go to, you know, different countries and see what music is to people there.
Right.
And
what was one of your like most memorable? We'll do two. What was your most memorable session, and what was your most memorable live performance?
Right. I think the most memorable session, in a way, probably not because of what happened musically, but just because of the, you know, it was so iconic, and that was doing the first James Bond film that I did, you know, because I did 5 of those, you know, as a soloist, doing recording and doing, you know, pretty much all the ethnic percussion on them. So the first one of those was because it's something that's been there throughout your childhood.
Yeah, that's history. That's history in itself. Even if you did one of them, it's like a part of history. But to do 5 is like, okay.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Clearly, they liked the first one, and the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one.
Yeah, I did an interview once, and the interviewer said, "Oh, so what's Pierce Brosnan like then?" It's like, as if you ever meet the actors. Anyway,
did you record in a suit? No.
In terms of like an event sort of thing, well, I had a project, going back to Rajasthan again, actually, because we started off talking about that. I had a project in Rajasthan where the promoter took me out. We went to Jaipur, then took me out like 6 hours into the desert. We went to these little villages. We were there for 2 days, all these little villages. You know, some didn't even have, you know, running water and stuff. You'd see the people with the water pot and stuff like that coming from the wells, and like literally in the middle of the desert. And each little village put on a performance, you know, under a banyan tree, or, you know, just very informal. And then after a few days, I got to kind of select a list. So it was about 30 in the beginning, 3 from there, 2 from there, you know, a couple from there. Put this group together, this sort of, you know, real mixed a bunch of players, actually, you know, trained musicians among farm workers, and you know, it's pretty interesting. And then I went back, and then we did a week's rehearsal, and then we toured India. We did the Jaipur festival and the Jodhpur festival, Lucknow festival, and then we came back. We did London. We did the festival hall, and you know, so it was good. But the actual gig, the first gig, this was the finally getting to the point now. The first gig of that we actually did after all the rehearsal was on top of Jodhpur Fort, which is like this amazing, literally like massive old fort, and it was midnight, and it was all packed. There's a big open area in the top of it. Midnight with the full moon, with these 30 Rajasthani musicians and myself, and we put this great project together. So that, I think that was the one.
Wow. Yeah, that had to be like, rehearsing with the band is like, okay, cool, we're getting ready for tour. But when you go to another country and you're like picking these people and, it's like, did I pick the right people? Did I pick the best people?
Yeah. Actually, it was hard, because some people, it was very difficult anyway, because even though sometimes people were just 5 miles apart from each other up the road,
they're
they
very
knew nothing
different
about each other's music. There was different dialects, so I had to have 2 or 3 different translators amongst them, and then between them and me, and so it was a pretty complex project actually, but worked out really brilliant.
Wow. And what's the since we got questions going, what's the most embarrassing moment you've had?
Oh, mate. Actually, the most embarrassing moment I ever had was when I was I had to, in South Indian music, because the time cycles and all the rhythm stuff is so complex, they have to have someone on stage, clapping a time cycle.
Yeah.
In North Indian, it's done by someone playing a repetitive melody round and round. So you always know where the time cycle is.
Right.
In South India, there's always someone clapping out a time cycle, using finger counts and waves and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty complex. Anyway, I had to do one of these for my teacher, great Karakudi Krishnamurti, and so we're doing, and I'm sitting there, and it looks really easy, but it's actually really hard, because they go like literally like a different planet where the pulse is, So I'm sitting there clapping the time. It's like 2 hours, of the concert, and then it finally came to the interval after 2 hours, and so I got up to walk off the stage. And suddenly I'm on the floor. And what I realized, there was a grass mat, and it completely 100% killed my legs. So
and the people just looked at you like,
yeah, there's the Englishman crawling off of stage.
What's crazy? I thought the story was going to go a total different direction. I thought you were going to say that you didn't understand what he was doing and you just played everything wrong.
Brilliant.
Can you imagine that? Like somebody that just did not understand. They're just like, just come on the stage, come join us. And it's just like, we're going to watch him.
Exactly.
Okay, he's throwing gang signs up at me. What are we doing? Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So what do you have coming up? What are you working on? What are you keeping busy with outside?
Well, a lot of stuff obviously is out the book because of the scenario.
Yeah.
But trying to be positive, trying to keep busy. Obviously the play from home thing.
I saw you play home. I saw you promoting it, and I saw yesterday you were on a live with someone yesterday doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I've been like also like so a lot of people have been going live, so I've been trying to catch some lives when I get a couple minutes just to just to see what's going on, see what people are doing, and it's cool because a lot of people are sharing good stories and good content.
It's true.
So I think it's cool. I just hope once this is over, people keep the same mentality of wanting to teach and wanting to share.
I hope so, yeah.
The whole each one teach one mentality. Like I would love to see that keep going.
For me, I've always had, like for 20 years now, I've had a free I've got 2 websites, one my personal one, but then I got another one that's just free lessons. It's been there for 20 years.
And what's that site? I want to make sure we post that.
Well, that's petelockett.com.
Okay.
That's where all the free percussion lessons are. There's
cool.
There's even books you can download for free and video courses and everything. And I think that's the way I'm going to go. For me, one of the things that I think the live stuff is great and the lessons, that's all like amazing. But for me, what I want to do is in a way, with the play from home thing, is to show that the musical dialogue is still going on, between diverse, cultures and diverse musicians and not diverse musicians as well. Musicians who do exactly the same thing, doing stuff together. And,
I mean, once you blend them, once you bring people together, what someone does all the time is not going to sound like what they do all the time. Once you bring other elements to it, so.
Exactly. Like today, I got a couple of weeks ago, I did a duo collab with the great beatboxer SK Slow-Mo. I don't know if you know his work. He's a great beatboxer, and that went up, and it was well received. And then today I got a video through of someone, a Japanese dancer who studied Indian dance, who's doing this amazing contemporary sort of Indian-y Japanese dance to it, you know. So it's like things happen that you think, actually, I'd never have thought of that, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that we can digitally, like virtually, just go back and forth and collaborate with people, because there's a lot of things that are coming out that would never come out.
Yeah.
Because to me, you know, some people aren't trying to fly to India to go learn this and then go here to learn that, you know. I always call it the blessings and the curse of the internet. Some people use it to their advantage. Some people just, you know, it's right there in front of you. Like you don't know that because you didn't Google it. Like, unfortunately, you can say that now. Like, hey, I wonder what temperature this works at. Google. Like, you know.
It's true, actually. Yeah.
So, man, I just hope everybody takes this internet, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse. It could cripple you, but it's also a good thing.
Yeah. You use it for you or against you, really. It's like anything, like technology. You know, I've always embraced technology in my. I mean, I'm an acoustic percussionist, but I've always embraced technology, and I've got my own. I don't know if you know my app, Drum Jam.
I heard. I looked up a couple of different things that you have been working on.
And that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah. And so, you know, the point is, though, you know, embracing technology and making it work for you rather than I think a lot of people are kind of pushing it, you know, have pushed it away, and of course now necessity is
and unfortunately anyone that didn't really adapt to technology, you know, maybe within the last year or two are lost. They're like, Zoom,
it's true.
Like what do you, I don't know. You know, it's just, what do you want to do?
Mind you, I had a couple of, like, a friend of mine had it like on the day before lockdown, the day after all the Mac shops closed in the UK, that day was the day before lockdown, as I recall. But anyway, his Mac blew up. That was it. He can't read his hard drives on his wife's computer, and it's like, oh dear. Some people are stranded, you know. Terrible scenario, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta always have a backup, especially if you're computer driven.
I did my cupboard for hard drives. There's about 50 backup hard drives in there.
There you go.
The other day, you know.
A backup of a backup of a backup. and then you put another backup in Dropbox. You know, like I got 4 or 5 different versions of everything. Just so I stand up.
The best way. The best way, definitely.
Yeah, but before we get out of here, man, I just want to thank you for being on here. We're going to make sure we share with the people about the play at home and making sure everybody's jumping in on that. Like I said, I'll
please do,
help you push that as much as I can. We get some other people involved and we make something great.
Fantastic. Well, great to chat to you, man.
All right, great chatting with you. Man, Philly the mayor, my guy Pete, all the way from across the pond, and we are out of here.
As you can see, that's my brother over there on the other side. Shout out to Pete. Well, that was another episode of Town Hall Meeting with the Mayor. I am your host, Eugene Man Roberts. Shout out to Roland and my whole squad, Joel and Nelly and Kristen and Brian and Igor and everybody. Shout out to you. You. Until the next time, I'm out.